Well, you might also be finding, and what research is showing, that if then you spend the majority of your day sitting down, that gym class you're doing, it's probably not going to be enough to counteract the negative impact that comes from a whole lot of prolonged sitting in our day. You think about even your heart when you're there sitting for hours and hours and hours without giving it a chance to have a boost, have some movement. It just has to not do anything. So that can slow it down. It can lead to an increase of fatty acids, which can clog our arteries, which is why so much research is out there saying that prolonged sitting puts us at much greater risk of things like heart disease. And then there's what happens to our brain when we're not releasing this incredible chemical we have called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. See, our brain is designed to function at its best through movement. That's how we have evolved. It rewards us for moving, and it rewards us by releasing all sorts of neurotransmitters and chemicals. One of them, BDNF, acts like fertilizer for our brain, helping our brain cells to communicate more effectively with each other. It builds more brain cells. It puts us in a better mood. It gives us more energy. And that's just one of the many things that happen to us when we get physically active.
Welcome to Future Fit Leadership, a podcast for emerging, experienced and executive leaders to build community, grow capability and future focus their career pathways. There has been a global shift in how we lead, and our conversations with leaders and executives explores the skills, strategies and mindsets that is needed to thrive in this ever-evolving landscape of the future. So whether you are a seasoned executive, an aspiring leader, or simply curious about the future of leadership, we are here to give you practical insights to unlock your potential, change the status quo, and break open our assumptions on how work works. Produced in partnership with Future Leadership, a capability ecosystem for boards and executives, Future Fit Leadership is your place for bite-sized learning for executives hungry to make a change. Hello and welcome to Future Fit Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Sadhna Smiles, and I hope wherever you are listening to this podcast, you are well. Sitting has become the new health crisis, and now that many of us are still meeting online, we are not even walking to appointments or meetings. Like me, you too may have all the good intentions of exercising on a regular basis. However, we are often too fatigued to actually get to the gym or go for that walk at the end of the day. Some of us may think that going to the gym for 45 minutes several times a week makes up for all the sitting that you may do at work. Well, as you will hear in this podcast, it actually doesn't. Lizzie Williamson is on a mission to encourage leaders to reimagine our workplaces so we are more active, where people can access their best energy and be more productive and creative. Research shows that micro movements throughout the workday can help decrease stress, increase energy and focus, and help your people get more out of their workday. Lizzie was a professional dancer, and after her second child, she suffered from postnatal depression. In our conversation, Lizzie shares how she rediscovered the joy of movement by doing one simple exercise a day. I love that Lizzie feels we need to change the word exercise to energize, and that this can allow us to focus on small micro movements that all add up and have a transformative impact. I felt so energized after this conversation, and I've been doing micro movements at the office and at home ever since. Small push-ups on the bench top, squats after taking a call, walking and talking, stretching are just some of the things that I've started to do on a regular basis. Small intentional actions every day I know will have a positive impact on our physical and mental well-being. I'm actually starting to feel it now. And it will also boost productivity and cultivate a culture of wellness and vitality in our businesses. So my next challenge is, how do I now take these small micro movements that I'm doing out into my office? Please enjoy this energetic conversation with the fabulous Lizzie Williamson. Hello, Lizzie. Welcome to Future Fit Podcast. How are you today?
I have been happy dancing this morning. No, I am getting to talk to you. So I'm very good. Thank you.
Well, we've had a couple of goes at this because last week we had some issues with technology. We couldn't connect. So I woke up this morning and went, right, today is going to be my answers of how I get motivated to exercise. So you're under pressure today, girl.
I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
So before we start getting to the nitty gritty of what you do and how to become more active, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
My whole life, I wanted to be a dancer. So every morning you'd find me in my garage before school for at least an hour. I'd be there on my little ballet bar and I'd be dancing. And that's just the thing that always brought me so much joy and gave me so much energy. And so that led me to becoming a professional dancer. So I danced around the world and did the can on cruise ships and chorus lines all around the place. And so I just loved to move. It was always so a part of me. And the thing that made me feel really good, and I found it really easy. And that all changed for me about 15 years ago when I had a baby and a toddler. And I found myself in this very, very dark place with postnatal depression. And the thing that had always been so easy, which was moving, exercising, whatever you want to call it, all of a sudden became so hard. And that was such a shift in my life. And then it also ended up becoming such a shift in my professional world as well, in the work that I do.
So how did that play out with you? Did you just sort of hibernate and not get out of bed or not do anything or not exercise, not go for walks? And, like, how did that play out for you emotionally and physically?
It was very much a mental battle and very, very, very dark thoughts, which I kept very secret because I felt incredibly ashamed. And so it played out for me that I would still go out. I had two tiny little girls, and I would go out with a big smile on my face and pretend everything was okay. And I'd look around me and everyone else was coping. Everyone else was having a really good time. And I was the only one that wasn't. And so it was just absolute secret shame and just this feeling of stuckness and not knowing how to take action on trying to make me feel better. It also played out because I thought that what made me a good mum and a good person was being selfless and giving everything to everybody else. And so I wasn't really doing anything for myself. And it all felt actually really hard. In fact, it sort of really felt impossible. The days of just being able to walk out the door whenever I wanted to go to this hardcore gym class or whatever, they were over. So I went, well, I can't do anything. And so that's what I did.
A couple of things you've said there which really resonate with me, because quite often we don't tell people how we're really feeling. We hide it for a whole bunch of reasons. I'm interested to find out what the reason was for you. I know that when it happened to me, it was a stigma at that point in time, because I had my kids in the early 90s. It was a stigma at that point in time of actually having to have that conversation with someone to say, I'm actually not feeling well and I've got all these terrible thoughts in my head, and that makes me a really bad mother and a really bad person. And it's called postnatal depression, but I didn't know those words then, But for me, it was a stigma. So was it the same thing for you?
It was. And it was also what I kept saying to myself was, how dare you, with all that you have, two healthy children, a roof over your head, food to eat, a loving family, all that sort of stuff. How dare you not be coping? There are so many other people all around you with so much less than you. And they're the ones who deserve to not be coping, not you. Get over it, get on with it. And so I thought that if I was to go and get some help or tell someone how I was feeling, even if I was to call somewhere like Lifeline when I was feeling really dark, that they would say to me, oh, your problems are nothing.
Get over it, girl. You've got nothing to worry about.
And of course, that's not what would have happened. It's certainly not what happened when I finally went and saw my doctor.
And the other point that, when you were just talking before, it's about putting your own oxygen mask on first, isn't it? Like, you've got to make sure that you're okay, whether you're a mum or a partner or a leader or whatever you do, you've actually got to make sure that you're okay before you can do anything for anybody else.
Yes, leaders give so much time and energy and thought to so many other people. And what I see a lot in leaders is they really forget about what we hear all the time, You would hear it all the time when you get on a plane. I'd heard it all the time. It's actually what my doctor said to me that really made me spark a change in me when she said, when you get on a plane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first before assisting others. That's what you have to do. And if you're listening to this now and you go, yeah, I've heard that so many times, really just take a moment to think about that analogy. What is that oxygen mask that you need? Because it makes so much sense. If we don't do that, yes, we can keep giving for a while, we keep going, but at some point, we're probably going to get to a point where we just can't give anymore. We just are burnt out. We're feeling so overwhelmed, so stressed, so exhausted that we can't do the thing that we're really wanting to do.
Now, when I was doing some research on you, what I loved reading about was that when you were in your dancing days as a young girl, you used to do, is it called plies? Is that how you pronounce it?
Plies.
Plies. Your garage every day. Then after you had your babies and as you worked through the situation and the crisis that you were in, you did the same thing again every morning, and that kind of really saved your life, but also put you on the path to where you are today. How did you get into that mindset of, because that's the hardest piece, right? And I know I'm the laziest person when it comes to exercise. I'd love to think that I can, and when I get motivated, I'm super motivated, but the motivation only lasts for a period. I need an event, like, my daughter's wedding. I exercised all year to look good for her wedding. Wedding's over, I don't care anymore. 2 years down the track and I'm back to being lazy. So how did you find the motivation to do that one thing every day?
Oh, I think it was because I made it so small. Because when I look back, I can't believe how hard it was to get myself to do that first plie. And a plie is where you have your hands on your ballet bar. In my case, it was a kitchen bench. Turn your feet out and you simply bend your knees and then straighten them up again. That's it. That's all I was trying to get myself to do. And I think the fact that I just did that first one plie, that was it. And then it's like, do another one, do another one. And even though my head in that moment after just doing those few plies said to me, well, pointless amount of time, really. That's not going to do anything. There was something about this tiny little feeling I had, this little sense of achievement that I'd done something for myself. And so I think it was a lot of that feeling of achievement, of hope, of this thing that I could do, that none of these things, these obstacles, challenges, excuses, whatever they were, could get in my way of this one little thing. And so I just went, right, do that again tomorrow. And I think it was so small. I mean, you think about how much more achievable 2 minutes, 1 minute, 10 seconds sounds to, right, you've got to go out and do 30 minutes, 60 minutes. I could just get myself to do it. And I just stuck with that one simple, small step.
And today you have an absolute global movement around this. So how do you go from doing a plie in your kitchen, around your kitchen table, for 2 minutes a day, to now having a global movement around this?
There was something about that little moment, and I kept on doing it. And then a bit of a ripple effect happened. I started to go and get more professional help. I started to eat better, even something other than my kids' soggy leftover toast crust, and started talking to friends more. And I'd hear from them that they had a sister or a friend and who was struggling with their mental health as well and couldn't get themselves to exercise, even though they knew it was the thing they needed to do. And there was no social media then. This is 15 years ago. So I just would film a little video for them to say, well, send this to them. Here's a little thing they can do at their kitchen bench too. A little piece of the pie when it comes to their mental health recovery and strategy. And so then I started sharing that. Then social media came to be. And so I thought, oh, I'll put these little videos up on social media. And slowly that just started growing, just sharing this idea that even if you don't have much time, even if you can't get yourself to motivate, if you've got no energy, if you're exhausted, if you've got back-to-back meetings, if you've got too much work to do, this idea of, if you can't get that hour or that half hour today, if you can't get to that certain gym class, if you don't have your fancy activewear on, to do a little something to try and break out of this all or nothing mindset. You can't get to the gym today, so you think, I can't do anything. Well, could you flick the switch on the kettle when you're boiling a cup of tea, hands on your kitchen bench, and do 10 push-ups? Yes, you can. That's something. You do 20 push-ups each day. At the end of the week, you've done 100 push-ups at your kitchen bench. You've got stronger. You strengthen your wrists, your arms. You've released myokines, which are our body's hope molecules. Scientists have dubbed them, making us feel more hopeful. So there's a little something we can do, but we have all these rules around what exercise has to look like. So much of the time that all or something that we could do actually becomes all or nothing.
Do you know, I relate to everything you've just said. It's that whole world of, I'm so busy, I've got too many meetings, I get to the end of the day and I'm too tired, my energy is sapped, I hate getting up early in the mornings, I get to 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I need a sugar hit to get through till later in the day. I get to 6 o'clock and I do not want to exercise, I just want to go home and sit on my couch. But what I'm finding is that sitting has become the new modern day disease for us. And I have this ring that I wear that tells me how many steps I've taken, my heart rate and all that sort of stuff. And I try and do 7, 8, 10,000 steps a day kind of stuff. And so I walk and talk a lot on my phone. But what I'm finding is the days when I'm not active, so the days where I've been sitting a lot, my body hurts when I move. I could do a 10-minute drive or 15-minute drive home, and I get out of the car, I feel like an old woman. And it's like, oh my God. So the question around why I'm sharing this is, there is an absolute cost to being physically inactive. Like, we can make all the excuses and do the all or nothing and, tell ourselves all the reasons why we can't exercise. But at the end of the day, there's a price to be paid. What is the cost of being physically inactive?
I think a lot of people will resonate with that story. I talk to a lot of leaders that at the end of their week, some of them are lying on the ground in agony in their bodies, so stiff, so tight, so achy.
Mm-hmm.
And what a cost is that, going into the weekend, not feeling flexible, mobile even, not feeling energized. It's just a huge cost when it comes to what you're able to do and how you are with your family and your friends. And if you're listening to this thinking, oh, it's okay because I do my gym class in my week and I go to my yoga or I do my walks, then I'm fine. Well, you might also be finding, and what research is showing, that if then you spend the majority of your day sitting down, that gym class you're doing, it's probably not going to be enough to counteract the negative impact that comes from a whole lot of prolonged sitting in our day. You think about even your heart, when you're there sitting for hours and hours and hours without giving it a chance to have a boost, have some movement, it just has to not do anything. So that can slow it down. It can lead to an increase of fatty acids, which can clog our arteries, which is why so much research is out there saying that prolonged sitting puts us at much greater risk of things like heart disease. And then there's what happens to our brain when we're not releasing this incredible chemical we have called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. See, our brain is designed to function at its best through movement. That's how we have evolved. It rewards us for moving, and it rewards us by releasing all sorts of neurotransmitters and chemicals. One of them, BDNF, acts like fertilizer for our brain, helping our brain cells to communicate more effectively with each other. It builds more brain cells. It puts us in a better mood. It gives us more energy. And that's just one of the many things that happen to us when we get physically active. So when we don't get enough physical activity, like 1 in 2 Australians are not, then we miss out on what I like to call this inner pharmacy that we have inside of us, that releases these wonderful chemicals, that makes us more creative, that makes us happier, that makes us more focused, and then also makes us live a whole lot longer.
Oh God, and we all want to do that, don't we? So how do people get over that mindset of, because when you're tired, it's so hard to be motivated to actually go and do any activity. You know you need to do it, but you're so exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally. You hurt because you haven't been doing anything, but you just don't have the energy. You don't have the brain power, the energy, the motivation, nothing. How do I overcome that?
I think we need to look first of all at this word exercise, because for many of us, there's all the rules that we in the fitness industry have set up what it has to look like. For many of us, it's also something that we really don't enjoy, that we feel like it's such a chore or a punishment for eating a certain way or something that's going to fix our body. And then there's the other part of exercise that we think, there's no way I can actually exercise at work in my day. Exercise is this separate part. It's this other thing that I have to have on my to-do list. So let's look at exercise as, first of all, something that we can make part of our day, something that's not separate, and start by taking out 2 letters so that rather than we have the word exercise, we have the word energize. So compare how can I exercise at work today to how can I energize at work today. So that's our first step with this whole exercise thing. Let's just reimagine what it has to look like.
Yeah. The word exercise makes me feel tired. It just, because it's just
totally,
you know, you're so right. You go to the gym and you have someone telling you that you have to do 45 minutes and 20 minutes needs to be cardio, and then they do all these weights and then you're not strong enough to do it. So you look and feel really silly. And I hate wearing, active gear because I don't think I look good in it. And so I know there'll be people who feel exactly the same way that I do. And so not going is a better option than actually putting myself in that situation on a regular basis. So, okay, we're going to change from exercise to energize. What else do we do?
So you're saying, how do I actually do it when I feel tired? How do I get motivated? First of all, we want to make this so much smaller. We know we need to do 150 minutes of moderate activity in our week. That's what the World Health Organization say. But what we also know from research is that can be broken up into small little moments. Think of these as micro breaks, or I like to call them micro moves. What we want to look at is, rather than this exercise is just this thing, oh gosh, we know we have to do it, we have to get to it at some point. How can we actually use this exercise or these energize moments to actually do just that, to energize us, to switch on our brain? When we're feeling tight in our lower back, what can we do? When we're feeling lacking in confidence, or we're feeling a bit like, oh gosh, really stressed out because I'm about to have to go into this meeting with one of my team members and talk to them, I'm really worried about the outcome. When we feel disconnected from our colleagues, or even if we're just on these long back-to-back meetings, how can we use these little moments of movement to actually help us in these moments, to help improve our day, to help us be more energized? And this can be so small. So let's take, for example, that you're feeling really tired. Oh gosh, I know I need to move, because that's actually how we get more energy. That's how our heart pumps that fresh blood and oxygen to our muscles and up to our brain and helps us feel better and more energized. It's so hard to get ourselves to do it. So start simple and so small. So then that moment, oh my gosh, I'm yawning, stand up, reach your arms up to the ceiling, and then sit back down again. If you just do one of those, brilliant. If you can do 10, great, whatever. Remember, something is better than nothing, because what happens when you do that little something, you stand up, you stretch, oh, that feels good. You sit back down again. Then maybe soon you might go, oh, there's my back again. Oh, I'm just going to do that. Stand up and stretch up my arms up and then sit back down again. And your body will start to crave those little bits of movement, because it feels good. It gives you that energy. And it also, you start to see that, oh, actually, even just this tiny little moment, that felt really good. That's not really, no one would actually look at that and say, that's exercise. And even if you can't get up off your chair, say you're embarrassed, a bit of movement, get your body moving, get your circulation flowing and your heart pumping. You can do that by reaching one arm up to the ceiling and then the other arm. Even as you're sitting down, pretend that you've dropped a pen either side of you. Lean down, pick it up, and lean the other way and pick up the other pen. The idea is to get your body out of this same stuck position, which is doing our heart no favors, our body no favors, our brain no favors, moving it in a little way. We can all take 2 minutes, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. It doesn't matter. But the big thing, like you're saying, is this switch of mindset, is reimagining what exercise looks like, particularly in our workday.
And what I'm hearing is that our body reacts to the smallest of things. So I don't have to go and do a 45-minute, workout at a gym. I can actually do 2 minutes every single day, or 5 minutes every day, or at my desk, small things, and my body will still react positively to it, which is great, because it's a real shift from I need to do 45 minutes every day, or for 4 or 3. Because, people ask you, like, you go to the doctors that go, do you exercise? Yes, I do. How, I go to the gym 3 days. Oh, very good. There's a tick there. So society itself has this huge misconception or conception that if you're doing at least 3 days of exercise a day of about 30 to 40 minutes, that's a big tick, well done. But what you're saying, it's a real shift, is just do something little every single day and your body will react positively to it, which is what we want to happen.
That's right, your body and your brain as well. There's a study by Stanford University shows that compared to sitting, walking, so like what you're doing these walk and talks, or even just having a little walk on the spot, that increases your creative output by 60%, 60. And those creative juices continue to flow after you sat back down. And if you think, well, I can't do the walk and talks because I'm, stuck here on my back-to-back meetings, see if you can, if there's any meetings in your week that you can do as a walk and talk. When I suggest it to people, to leaders I talk to, so much of the time I hear, when we're out and walking, I hear them say, I've actually never done this. I've never thought of this, because we're always on the Zooms, on the Teams. Can you take this call as a phone call? And can you take it as a walk? And even if you can't take it outside, can you pace somehow in your room, around, even on the spot? There's another study by Columbia University that shows that even a 1-minute walk every 30 minutes improves your mood and helps to decrease fatigue. The other thing it does is help to regulate your blood sugar level. So you know how you eat and you kind of get it up and it down, and then you sort of go for that sugary snack to get yourself up again. A great thing to remember is even a 1-minute walk after you have eaten is such an effective thing to do for your energy.
So today, particularly post-COVID, there's been a huge focus on wellness. And for a lot of businesses globally, wellness has become a pillar in our businesses, whether we, planning what the hybrid world of work looks like, how we're going to engage employees around wellness. People are doing meditation at work, or they're doing short work weeks, like there's a whole range of things. In our building, we pay a little bit extra for a gym downstairs, which everybody can use, but no one uses it, right? And I don't understand why they don't, but they don't use it. So how do leaders actually get their people moving? Because what you're talking about starts with the leaders themselves. So the leader starts doing it, but then we've got to filter it down to the people who work in our environments. How do we get them moving as well?
It's interesting, because when I go in and do workshops and speak to workplaces, a lot of the things that I hear when the leaders aren't there is that this all sounds great. We want to move. We want to have these little micro breaks, all this sort of stuff. But we actually need our leaders to say, this is okay, give you permission to do it, and also for them to do it themselves and to see them actually doing it. And this can be so simple and small. If the leader is there going, right, I know that I am sitting for these hours and I'm not moving. This is so not good for my body. It's so not an example that I want to be setting for my people. I definitely don't want them ending up lying on the floor at the end of the week with this aching body. So what can I do? Okay. Maybe at the start of a meeting, I could say, all right, everyone, you've probably been sitting down for a while. You get cameras off, doesn't matter. Let's just take a moment, even just to do that. Stand up out of our chairs, have a little stretch up, whatever feels good, a little twist side to side. Doesn't have to be anything embarrassing. Or you could say on a meeting, you know what, just before I got on this meeting, I had this roll back of my shoulders because I realized I'd been hunched over my computer. Gosh, it feels really good. Feel free to do it now. Or let's play a little video to start this meeting off. And just a little moment where you can stretch, do some chair yoga. There's so many videos that you can access like this, a little quick energizer, whatever you need. And what I've found with organizations is there's something quite key to this meetings part of it, because it's great to do it on your own, but it's even better to do it together. And what often happens is, if you as a leader are doing it, I did this one meeting and I had the CEO on, and she said to everyone, okay, put your cameras on if you can. And because I was there, like, we're going to turn on a song and we're all going to actually have a bit of a dance. And we did some old school dance moves. Everyone was having the biggest laugh at the CEO and with the CEO. And she was there saying, you know what? This is good to do. We all need to have some fun. We need to have some play. Like you had that fantastic podcast episode about play with Dara, and we need to have these moments of going, you know what, we need to actually put this into a practical way for us to be future fit, to be fit, to say, here's a practical thing that we're all doing. It's so small. We're going to start this meeting and I'm going to show you these little moves that I learned. Let's do them together and make it super simple, super accessible for everybody. And then people will start to think, oh, okay, right, I can see how this little moment feels. I might do it again later in my day by myself. I might share that I'm doing it with someone. I might find an accountability person to do it with. But if you as a leader can take these little moments in your day to break up prolonged sitting and share it in some kind of way, whatever works for you, I tell you what, it is so, so powerful.
And it's a real stress buster as well, isn't it? I mean, I know a lot of people who work in stressful environments or, you know, are client facing a lot and have those ups and downs or take phone calls. Just to be able to move, go for a walk, do a stretch, you know, whatever you're doing, it's such a stress buster as well. It actually gets you re-energized and refocused in a positive way rather than going down that rabbit hole of the drama of whatever it is that you're creating.
There's studies by Microsoft Lab with Arianna Huffington, even a micro break. I'm talking, say, like, turn your head, look away from the computer. You can close your eyes if you like, and take a deep breath in and out. Turn your head the other way. And when you come back to your work, that's actually reset your stress and helps you be more productive and focused. Our brains they detect and respond to change. That's how they focus. But what we do instead, we just power on because we think we can't take a break. But that little moment to reset stress, if you were to do something like stand up and sit down 10 times, if you were to have a little punch out in front of you just to release and stretch, even a shake off, some little way to get your body moving, we release something called endocannabinoids, which is this chill pill that we have inside of us. And that comes from moving, a little kick out of our legs side to side, even if you have to go to the bathroom and do it. Don't you find with stress that we hold it in our bodies, and that can help make us feel so stuck and tight? Whereas if you move it out, you can feel it. If you go for that little walk, if you have a little punch out, if you have a little shake off or a dance, whatever it is, you can feel that stress. Sometimes it builds and builds, but then it starts literally moving through your body. What a powerful, brilliant tool to use in your workday.
Oh, it'd be amazing. And it just strikes me that what you're talking about is about creating habits, but habits are not easy to do. I find that, you know, we talk about, we've got to make it into a habit, but they're not easy to do. So what's the most effective way that I can make these micro breaks, these micro movements every day, something that I do that I don't even think about, that it becomes a habit? What's the best way for me to do that?
Start with just one. Look at something that you are regularly doing in your workday. So that might be that you get up and make a cup of tea. That might be that you have got this regular meeting that you're on. You might find that you are taking a sip of water. Whatever it is, you want to find a moment that you can attach some movement to. So let's look at the flicking the switch on the kettle, both hands on the kitchen bench. You do some push-ups. Take a sip of water. That's your moment that you might stretch. Could be as simply as doing a side-to-side twist of your body, like someone's called out behind you. You're looking behind to see them one way, then you're looking behind the other way. It could be that when you press join to go on this regular meeting, that's your moment just to stand up for a quick moment, take a little quick walk on the spot and sit back down again. Whatever it is, find that little thing. Think about that bit of movement that you want to do. What is it that you need? You know, push-ups against the wall is a fantastic thing to do as well. Push-ups can really help you feel stronger and more empowered and energized. or a quick little walk, stand up, sit down, chair stretch, whatever, then what we really need to remember is this third part of the habit loop. BJ Fogg talks a lot about this. We need to have that reward. So what does a reward look like so that we can get our brain releasing the dopamine, the neural pathways that go, oh, I need to do that again. That felt really good. The reward simply looks like I do a high five to myself in the reflection of my computer, a fist pump, an internal little thing to yourself, words to yourself saying, good on you. Well done. You did that. Great work. You did that thing for yourself. Celebrate even the smallest little things that you do for your body, your brain, your mood, your well-being. Because so often we only celebrate the big things. And when we start to celebrate these small things individually and also together, so if you were to say, do a little quick stretch at the start of a meeting, you want to make sure we all give each other a high five, celebrate, or the person leading the meeting going, good on you, everyone. Make sure you give yourself a bit of a, little fist pump or something. And that celebration part of it is such the key.
I'm just having visions of, every hour going at the team and saying, right, what are we going to do now? Squats, off we go. But you could actually do that. I mean, you could actually engage your business or your people to do something with you on a regular basis, because that would enhance culture, connection, play, fun, and movement. What a great way to connect with your people.
Definitely. And you can start really small with that. So you can start with simply, okay, has everyone been staring at their screen for hours? Okay, we're just going to turn your head to one side, the other, look down at your feet for a moment, come on up, roll your shoulders back. Good work, everybody. Here's what's happened there. You have released out shoulder tension, and that helps with your back. Or okay, everyone, we're just going to stand up, have a quick little walk around the office, whatever that is. And what's happening here? We've released that BDNF. We've increased our creative output by 60%. Putting a little bit of science and reasoning behind why you are doing this can really, really help. And particularly those people that like the data, like the science. And there's so many different reasons that you can give people for doing it. Anyone need a bit of a boost of creativity? Let's do this. Anyone feel like their lower back's getting tight? Let's do this. Everyone feel like they're falling asleep and about to go just binge a whole thing of chocolate in the kitchen? Let's do this instead.
So you've written a book. What's your book about?
The book is called The Active Workday Advantage. And I wrote it because I discovered myself how powerful exercise and movement can be, even just these little micro moments. And then when I started getting out there and doing more conferences and working with workplaces and just seeing that here we have this incredible inner pharmacy inside of us with all these fabulous neurochemicals, hormones, feel-good hormones, all these things just waiting to come out, and we get them through movement. Why aren't we doing this in our workday when so many of us are so stressed, so burnt out, so tight, so achy, just feeling exhausted at work? If you had in your workday this pharmacy in your office, at home, or in the office, and you could just walk through it when you felt tired and you just grabbed this pill, when you felt like, oh gosh, I'm feeling a bit down, I've got all this self-doubt, I don't know how I'm going to talk to that person, all the little things, and you could go through this pharmacy. You just be there, and it's all free. But we have that inside of us. And so I wrote this book because I wanted to not only show how powerful movement can be in the workday, but also start to reimagine what it could look like, make it so much easier and achievable to do it, give a toolkit of here's the actual things to do, because everyone says sit less, move more, but what do you actually do? How do you actually do it? No one really wants to get up and do 20 star jumps in their workday. So what is the toolkit of these simple moves that some of them no one is even really going to know that you are exercising? And then I wanted to really put in this book what I'd seen work for organizations that I'd worked with, how they had made this part of their culture, become an active workplace, and create this real roadmap of how to do that in a super simple way This is such simple little changes that you can implement for really big impact.
Awesome. So if I wanted to do that in my organization, I can get your book and it will actually step me through how to do it. Fantastic. So your global movement, you travel the world now talking about this on stage. What's next for you? You've got a book, you talk about this everywhere. And this conversation has been great because, hopefully everyone listening to this will realize there's really simple things you need to do to get back on track in terms of movement for your body. What's next for you?
This idea of being able to call yourself an active workplace is something that I am really, really passionate about. And so it's going deeper inside workplaces and looking at how we can actually challenge the status quo of how we work, change it up a bit, and make these little simple changes that have a big impact. And so it's really going deeper in. I absolutely love being up on stage in front of thousands of people. And I really now wanting to also bring that in deeper and go, what does that look like? Because I know that it's challenging. I know that it's hard. I know there's a lot of resistance. I mean, I step up on stage all the time and people know I'm going to get them moving. And this is what I hear. Oh, groans.
Yes.
I know that this is hard. And some days I think, oh my gosh, this is too hard. I think I'm going to give up. But I'm too passionate about it. I've seen it work way too many times to not be wanting to get out there and go, okay, how can we actually create this active workday revolution? Because the way that we are working, so many of us are working in this sedentary way, is not working. So that's my plan. I'm on a mission, so watch out.
Well, good luck to you. And I think it's a wonderful mission to be on because you're right. The way we are working at the moment and, the world is getting faster and we have burnout. People have left the workforce. We have a shortage. There's, everywhere we look, there is stress, issue, crisis, the whole lot. And that plays out on us physically, mentally, emotionally. And in workplaces, all we do a lot of the time is sit and do our work. And I think if we could find ways to move in short bursts, it will have a positive impact on how work is done. So I think it'll actually change businesses as well. So good luck to you. I hope you get into as many workplaces as you possibly can.
Thank you. I'm getting there.
Thank you for being on the podcast. It's been wonderful talking to you.
I've loved it so much. Thank you.
If you like what you've heard, please share, rate and review this podcast. And don't forget to share it with anyone who might benefit from hearing it. The producer of Future Fit Leadership is Maritza Barone from Guide Your Light Network. If you would like to reach out to me, please DM me on any of my social media platforms. I'm available for speaking at conferences or consulting to your business. Future Fit is created in partnership with Future Leadership, a capability ecosystem for boards and executives. If you'd like to join the community and receive a free takeaway each week, sign up to the Future Exchange app in my show notes. Thank you for having me in your space.
This is a Guide Your Light Network production, creating podcasts with purpose.